Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Stuka Podcast about everything Stuka. I'm Julia, your host, and today I'm joined by EMVE, an emerging rapper in the Groningen music scene. EMVE earned his spot at the last year's Stukafest after winning the Rap Battle Talent Showcase, and his performance made really strong impression. This episode was recorded just before the release of his latest track, Boss It Up, but it's out now and streaming everywhere, so be sure to give it a listen after this episode. The music video to his song The Function is also out right now, so you should definitely give it a look on YouTube as well. We also talked a bit about one of his upcoming songs, Born, so you should definitely keep an eye when he's gonna release it. In this conversation, we talk about his journey into music, what drives him creatively, and how he plans to develop his career in the future. So, as always, grab your headphones, settle in, and let's get started. Before we start today's episode, I wanted to remind everybody that Stukafest 2025 is approaching, and I hope you all already have your tickets, but if you don't, you can go to stukafest.nl and buy your ticket now. I hope to see you there. Of course, you know how it works, right? You have 3 rounds of music. You can go to one of them or all of them, as I obviously recommend. Afterwards, we have an after party, so don't forget to buy your ticket for this as well. We have so many different genres of music and other art forms coming for you this year, so your presence cannot be missing from this year's edition. Me and the rest of Stukafest board hope to see you there soon. Hello, EMVE. How are you today?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm also very great. I'm very happy to host you today with us on the Stukafest podcast. So, without further ado, let's start with today's episode. So, I would like to start about talking with you on your background and how you got involved with music in the first place. So, my first question to you would be, what's your earliest memory of being drawn to music?
I suppose I've always been, listening to music, making music, not at all, to be honest. I think at some point I was a massive Eminem fan, and in terms of like rap music, it's all I really listened to at the start. But then I started rapping along to Eminem, trying to do all the fast parts, getting there, until at some point I started listening to much more old school. And this is like a process that took a while, like I think 2-3 years passed over this. And then I found MF Doom, and his wordplay is absolutely ridiculous. And I saw his rhyme schemes and his lyrics, and I'm like, I can do that. Or at least I want to try and do that. And this coincided with reading this one book. It's called Death Poems by Haiku Poets and Buddhist Monks. And it's from Japanese mythology, Japanese literature. And they write these like little haikus or poems right before they die and something like that. So I started writing some of the haikus myself, and it was around that same time that I started writing some lyrics a year and a half ago. So I only have actually been doing music the way like I'm doing it now for about a year and a half, so not that long yet.
Yeah, and also like on the musical side of things, because like a big part of rap in general are the lyrics, and this is where like all the emotions come from and the expression. But how about musical side of things? Like, did you get any musical training beforehand, or it was all freestyle at the beginning?
It was all just figuring it out completely myself. I don't know a single thing about music theory. I've never really played an instrument. I never did any singing or whatsoever. It's all just been just listening to music throughout my life. My parents, showing me Michael Jackson, and my dad has hundreds and hundreds of records and CDs at home, but never anything, doing what I'm doing myself with music. So this has all been my own doing. And of course, I've had, friends help me here and there. The way I started was because these 2 mates of mine were figuring out, how they were making beats, and I just asked them if I could join. And that's actually the first time I was ever in, granted, a very makeshift home studio, but still the first time nonetheless.
That's very cool. Yeah. So you were like a, big fan of music at the beginning, and then it's slowly but surely evolved into, interest in actually being a performer. That's very cool. Could you tell us a bit about your journey into music? Like, what inspired you to start rapping? What was this breaking moment to like, okay, I'm writing those lyrics, but now, I really want to try it. I really want to start rapping, and we'll see how it goes.
It started with that Eminem rapping along until I found, MF Doom, and I wanted to write more. But at the same time, I was in my own way. Like, I'm a little late sometimes with figuring out music trends and whatnot, new artists. But I was started listening to way more Tupac and Biggie, Gangstar, Mos Def, Kendrick, J. Cole, all of Isaiah Rashad, all of them. They were making just incredible music where I was like, I want to try this at some point. So my first lyrics that I wrote, they were very heavily MF Doom style. So focus on the rhyming schemes, focus on the flow of what you're saying, like every word's got a rhyme. And I recorded this one demo with it, and it was horrid. It was so bad. Genuinely, I still have it like somewhere, but that one's never coming out. It's so bad. And I tried to do the mixing myself and everything, but I had no clue whatsoever. Like, I tried doing some tutorials and whatnot, but it was I just can't, thinking about it, and I'm like, damn. But then I heard from a friend of mine, the two guys were doing music, Nikita and Burke, and I joined them in the studio, and they had made one really nice beat that they said, you should try and write something to this and make something to this. And at the same time, I was finding more and more beats on YouTube that I really liked and wanted to try rapping to. So I started writing just more and more and more until finally, I think it was August 2023 is when I released the first song. But since then, there's been, a lot of improvement and everything. But in
such a short period of time, like you already, are performing in the festivals, like your growth is insane. Like, it's very nice to see. So what was the moment when you were like, this is actually like, I will start doing like a career out of this, let's say?
I think as soon as I got into the studio with the guys, at first, just see what works a little bit. But I think as soon as we started recording those first few songs, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this like seriously. Obviously, I'm studying next to it. I'm doing a whole bunch of other stuff next to it. But as soon as I was in that studio, I was like, nah, now we're actually going to try. Burke has said that before. He was like, yeah, as soon as you joined us, like, you were professional from the start, very in terms of work ethic. You wanted to you know what you wanted, and you wanted to get it done. So I do like to get it done then in the studio right away. So from that moment on, there was a lot of thought put into it already.
What are your biggest musical influences for your artistry at this point? And how have they shaped your sound?
Yeah, at first it was Eminem, mainly just the way he can rap. But the more I found out about like proper old school hip hop, the more I gravitated towards that instead. So my playlist is mostly old school. I think nowadays I take a lot of inspiration from Kendrick. I just think he's honestly the best rap artist ever so far.
Rightfully so. He got so many Grammys yesterday.
He's incredible, and the way he writes his metaphors and the wordplay, it's unbelievable. But next to that, like Isaiah Rashad very much has his own style as well. I think Mos Def, also a bit more of a conscious rapper. The way these guys can rap about kind of everything, but make a true story out of it, is just incredible to see and to listen to. And that's what I kind of wanted to do as well. So I veered off a little bit from the initial Eminem and just wanting to rap fast, going a little bit more into writing about life. And I know maybe in what's released so far, it's not reflected very well yet. But that's because I feel like I'm saving all of that for later, when I can afford to, spend more time on it, also spend more money on it. So it sounds like amazing. Andre 3K, J. Cole as well, obviously Gangstar. I mean, there's so many that really shaped the way I see making music, myself making music now. And there's a visual side to that as well, within music videos and album covers. And in terms of that, I think Kendrick produces some of his own music videos as well. But Tyler, the Creator, is incredible in how he sets up this whole concept around an album. And I think, in fairness, Travis Scott is really, really good at that as well, in shaping these music videos. So it kind of coincides with each other there.
I also wanted to ask you, how would you describe your style of music that you released so far within the hip-hop genre? Is there any particular name that you would give it?
I think I'm still kind of figuring out my style. I haven't really picked like my own little subset. I haven't developed my own flow completely yet. I'm getting there, but it's obviously also a bit of a process. I really like boom bap. That's generally what I gravitate towards most. But I also find myself making, some trap music in there as well. I'm not too familiar with all the terms. Jazz rap, I really like to do as well. So most of it tends to be more like low-key, chill music. But I also feel like, this is the time where I am figuring out what I like to do, what kind of music I like to make. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of everything in there, and it's a bit reflected in the album as well, because there's a bunch of different styles in there. So yeah, I'm still figuring it out a bit.
I think a lot of artists they're figuring it out in general, like, throughout their whole careers, and it changes as well. But it was very interesting to listen to your, influences, and then hear, how you perceive at least the things that you released so far. And it's very nice to hear for our audience, for sure.
Thank you.
Going further, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your experience at Stukafest, because as we know, you performed at Stukafest last year and you had an amazing performance there. How was your experience with Stukafest last year?
The reason I got to perform at Stukafest was because of the rap battle Stukafest hosted at Simplon. So I joined for that. And then the winner got to actually perform at Stukafest, right? So there were 4 other artists there, each very much like with their own style and flow, which was really cool to see. Some more, or I think all of them were a lot further ahead in terms of like how long they've been making music already. So it was really cool to see, them perform and how they were doing, and really nice people, all of them. And that was my very first performance ever. So I was terrified. I hadn't released my album yet either, so I was doing a bunch of unreleased songs that no one had heard, but I was terrified. I was so nervous. I think I must have gone to the bathroom like 7 times in the preceding hour. So I'm shaking and everything. And then finally, after I think 2 performances, maybe 3, my name is called. So I would start walking to the stage, and I had a bunch of friends of mine there. I think about 60 people showed up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was promoting it. I was telling everyone, come, it's my first performance. It's only my first performance once, so you must join. And the atmosphere was amazing. So as soon as I go up, I'm like, whoa, my heart is pounding, my palms are sweaty, and it was so nervous, so nerve-wracking. And the music starts playing, Quest, first song, because that's the one I wanted right away. Turn it on as I'm walking on the stage. And I remember looking at the host, was 80K. I remember looking at the host like, Like, oh, this is gonna be something. And as soon as the actual rapping started, I was in it and I loved it. Like it such a weight off my shoulders when I actually started rapping. And it was such an incredible experience. And like I said, there were so many people there for me. I liven up just thinking about it because it was so much fun. I do my whole set. I think about 25 minutes. I forgot my lyrics here and there a couple times. Still a little bit nervous, but that was okay. I was just calling out the crowd on it. I was like, "You guys made me forget, man." And I ended up winning the event, and that's how I actually got to perform at Stukafest itself. So then, actually going to Stukafest, it was in the student rooms. I think it was Phil. I went into his room. They had it set up, lovely people there, and then it's the 3 times half an hour. I think for the first one, it was still light outside, so there's all this light coming in, and it doesn't really set the mood very well. And it was mostly like family members of mine, in their 40s and 50s, who wanted to see one of the performances. That was quite odd. They don't generally listen to hip hop, so it's my mom standing there, bobbing her head, which is very sweet. Very appreciative of it, but just quite different from what you would normally expect, like a little hip hop concert to be.
Yeah, of
But
course.
then the two performances after that were quite packed. It was quite full, and by then it had gotten dark as well. So the room actually livened up. There was much more atmosphere. The LED lights, you actually saw them. And those two after that were also really fun. Like each had its own story kind of attached to it.
The thing about Stukafest that you need to perform it 3 times. So I wanted to ask you like how different it felt. And you already said that the first one was, your friends and family. But was it good or bad? Or what do you think about it to perform 3 times in a row? Like how was your energy throughout the whole night? Because it's not something that usually artists do, to perform 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
There's like 15 minutes before, like in between the performances. And also, how each of those, playing felt to you. Like, how was it with, the audience and, the overall mood throughout the 3 performances?
Yeah, so the first one was quite low key because, like I said, the family members there are a bit more, just enjoying listening. They see me perform, and they're proud, and it was really nice. It was very sweet. Just not quite the vibe, like the energetic vibe that you have normally. Still, I'm gonna perform to the best of my ability, but it's a lot easier to do it when you have a crowd that's more reactive, more energetic. Performing it like 3 times over, honestly, it wasn't bad. It was just that it was scorching hot. Like both, I think that day was already quite hot.
I don't know what happened. It was May, and there was this one weekend which was so hot, and then it was Stukafest. I remember that.
So it was really, really warm in this apartment, but then in like a fairly small room, you also pack, I don't know, 30 to 40 people, including, myself and the volunteers and everyone. So it was so warm in there, and I'm performing and I'm sweating, and every time, like after a performance, I just stand outside, catch whatever fresh air I can. But that made it considerably more difficult to really put all this energy in for half an hour straight. But it must have been over 30 degrees in that room. Still, it was really fun. And honestly, the 3 times 30 minutes isn't too bad because I like my songs, I like performing them. So it's quite all right.
How do you feel about the setup of Stukafest? Because it's, let's say, quite unique to perform at students' apartment. How did it felt different or similar to normal performance? How does it feel to be so close to the audience? Because usually, you're on the stage and kind of the audience is, you don't really see them even because the lights are in your face. And how is it different to perform so closely to the audience?
I really like the idea of Stukafest. Last year, the year I performed was also, in fairness, the first time I heard about it, figured out about it. So it was a bit of a learning curve in that. But the setup of it is actually quite nice, having all these different, well, not just performances, but also genres within, because I think there was one comedy, and then there's rock, and then there's rap, and a dance performance theater, like all these different things.
Yes.
And you can just choose which one you want to go to, and so it's on one night catch three different performances. Like it's a good night out.
Yeah.
Then with the proximity to the crowd through the performances, I still had a few friends showing up and joining me as well, which actually made it more fun, because as I'm rapping, I'm interacting with my friends as well, and just in general with the crowd. I pulled one guy, a friend of mine, Monty, on stage. He had written EMVE on his chest. Just took his shirt off and showed that. It was really fun.
Yeah.
So it actually made it, in this specific case, it made it really fun.
How did you feel about, also the volunteers during the event? Because, they're kind of, I'm talking here about the host and also other people that were volunteering. Did you have any, contact with them? Were they helpful at the venue to, accommodate your needs? Or did you have time to speak about, like any feedback, anything like that?
I think there were 3 volunteers, if I recall correctly, helping at the house. Just lovely guys, like really nice to chat with them. I showed up as a little bit earlier as was requested. Then we made some food and ate together. It was chill.
Yeah.
It was just fun.
Yeah.
They said they liked the performance as well, so obviously that's nice.
Yeah.
Gotta say, me personally, I wouldn't necessarily have it in my house, because I'm more like, that's my space.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it is really nice, and it obviously depends on volunteers to work and get the venues and
Yeah.
everything. But no, the guys there were really nice, and just helped create a nice atmosphere. Made me feel comfortable in their house as well. So it's nice.
And how does performing in a space like a student room compare to a traditional venue in terms of energy and interaction with the audience impacted you? Like, was there any difference, in your opinion, between, a normal venue and the Stukafest? Like, is there any feeling that you have that was a little bit different?
I mean, the normal venue is a bit more traditional, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're slightly elevated on the stage. You're kind of looking over the crowd. Whereas Stukafest, you're on level ground. I don't think it matters that much. Granted, I've only ever done 3 performances in my life, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I am an expert on this specifically.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't think, to me, it didn't matter that much, because for each performance, I had a bunch of friends with me as well that were there supporting me, for which I'm very, very thankful. So no matter what the vibe was, I could count on them to
Yeah.
create a bit of a vibe. And if no one else liked it, which luckily did not happen, but still, if no one else liked it, I knew that they were going to be there, and I could just have fun with them.
Yeah, of course.
And that helps a lot.
Okay, so now, from Stukafest talk, I want to go more in depth into your creative process and your projects that you're working on right now. So, when you're creating your music, what is the first thing that you start with? The lyrics? Is it the beat that you think of, and then like, oh, this is something that I could add to it, or gives me the feeling, or is it something else?
Sometimes just in your head, the lyrics pop up, like you think of a rhyme, and it's like, oh, this is quite nice. Like, let me just write this down. But it doesn't necessarily have a purpose yet. As I said, I find my beats mainly on YouTube, and then make the music from there. So I find like a really nice beat that I think is very nice. I must have looked at thousands and thousands of beats by now, and only a very select few I actually like enough where I'm like, okay, let's see if I can make something with this, if I can write something to this. So once I find a beat, that's usually when inspiration tends to strike. And then I just start writing. And writing can take anywhere from 20 minutes for a full song to a couple hours. Sometimes it's spaced out over a couple days because I write for an hour. I'm like, okay, this is what I want to talk about. But then I can't quite finish it, or it's gotten late because I'm lost in thought and I really need to go to sleep. Let me finish this tomorrow.
Yes.
So that's kind of how that process develops there.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, you all talked a little bit about it, but where your creative ideas usually come from? Is it from your personal life? Is it from what you're observing around you? What is usually inspiring you to write about?
It kind of depends on the beat usually as well, because the beat will have a certain vibe. I'm like, okay, so you're not going to talk about a really sensitive topic generally on a very hard hitting beat. It doesn't really it clashes a bit. It clashes a bit. So it usually depends on the beat and then what kind of vibe I get. All right, I'm gonna rap about this, and then what I'm rapping about does tend to be, if it's more serious, it tends to be experiences from my life or what people have told me. Granted, if it's based on something that people have told me, I do ask permission, like just letting you know I'm writing about this, but only if you think it's okay. And that's reflected on one or two songs on the album as well. But then some of the other beats, which might be more hard hitting, or I don't know, a little bit more general trap, for example. It's just you rap about fun stuff. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily always have to be completely true. Like some of the songs are on, oh, I have so much money, when that at the time at least definitely wasn't true.
Yeah,
So
of course.
it's kind of just, some of the music is you make it for fun, and then the others is more, okay, I really want to convey a message with this song, so let me put more thought into it than I would normally.
Sometimes it's all about this feel good energy from a song.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your album, and how was this process? How it looked like? How long did it take you to release this album and create it?
I think we started working September or October 2023, and I ended up releasing it June 2024. So it ultimately took
Almost a
the
year.
math.
Yeah,
just,
academic year.
yeah, about an academic year, exactly. It starts off with, I know I wanted to make an album, have something out there, something kind of like in one package out there. And then it's a matter of, okay, what do I actually want to put in it? So I have a certain number of beats. For some of them, I already written a bunch, but I knew that this album, I wanted to kind of figure out a little bit my flow. And that's why it's also called On a Quest, because it's like a little bit on a quest to figure out exactly what I want to do with music. But at the same time, it's also an homage to A Tribe Called Quest, and the title track of the album, Quest, which is also from A Tribe Called Quest. So that's very leaning into the jazz rap thing. But then the album also has trap songs on it, and more like J. Cole type, A$AP Rocky type, a little bit of Kendrick, a little bit of Chance the Rapper. So there's a lot of different inspirations for that. And I just kind of found throughout the process of, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to include, kind of it took its own shape eventually.
Is there any ending to the album, or is it still an ongoing quest for you?
There's still a little bit of an ongoing quest, but I do really like the album. I like the way it turned out. It was an absolute hassle. We mixed and mastered it all ourselves, and I think some of the songs we were on version 30 already of just mixing it, and it's a long process, painstaking. But I'm still definitely on a quest a little bit. But the album in itself, I'm very happy with. I think it's a decent standalone project.
So, going from your previous project that you already completed, let's go into the upcoming projects. So, before this interview, MV was so kind to send us a little bit of the sneak peeks to what he's up to and what he's about to possibly release soon. So, first thing that I had a chance to watch was the music video for The Function. I really love the music video. It's really great. What was inspiration behind it? Where you started to think why this song got the music video? Could you tell us a little bit more about this project?
I think at the time when I made the song, and I was showing my friends, like kind of collectively, we were like, "Yeah, this pops." And I was asked to send it, before it was even released, send the audio file to some of my mates so they could just listen to it on their phone. And I just really liked the vibe and the pace of the song. So I figured, all right, let's make a music video to this one. And then I think I knew kind of as soon as you start thinking about, okay, I want to make a music video, you start keeping an eye out for possible locations, possible scenes that could look nice. So there's a bunch of different shots. I mean, one is in the kitchen of Concerthuis, actually.
Yeah.
Obviously asked if I could film there, and they were kind enough to let me do so. The one is next to the law building in the city. Another on my neighbor's rooftop, because I slid a note through the door asking, hey, could I potentially film on your rooftop? And again, they were kind enough to let me do so.
From what you just said, I assume that you were the director of the music video, but how was your team? Like, who recorded it and everything?
So a friend of mine, her name is Han. She filmed it for me, and we just worked together in terms of, like, I say, okay, this kind of scene is what I want, but she is the one who has far more experience with actually filming. She also edited the video for me, which you can see in the start of the music video.
Yes.
And so she did a lot of the bulk work for this as well, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Then, there's other people in the music video as well, all friends who I asked, like, hey, can you please help me, do this and this and this. And then all the planning and whatnot I did myself. That was an absolute hassle, man. Like, I'm driving around Groningen with a car full of props and everything, trying to get to this location on time, and then we have to film and had to get the car back as well. So it was a really, really busy couple of days to film all the different shots.
Was it a one-day shoot or a few days?
I think it was over 3 days.
Okay.
We shot. It's on all the different locations. I think it took about 3 days.
Oh, damn. A big project.
Yeah, pretty big.
Do you think the music video is more like nice pictures over your rapping, or is there a story going through the whole music video?
This is more just, what it looks cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's not much of a story in this. There's not much of a concept. This is just a cool music video. Whatever I thought, okay, this is gonna look dope. I definitely want to go more into the visual aspect of music videos as well, and really telling a story. But that's reserved for future projects still. Actually, I think just the other day I finished editing another music video as well. That's also coming up.
Oh.
So that also, again, not necessarily with a story, just looks really fun, and we had a lot of fun shooting it. So I kind of wanted to just convey that, like, we're having fun making all of this, making the music, making the music videos. Like that's kind of what it's about at this moment.
No, but it's very fun and also, like I was very surprised in a good way in how professionally done was this music video.
Well, that's thanks to Han.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely very good watch, and I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the, let's say, quote unquote special effects that are in the music video. How did you guys shoot it? Was it all the whole thing post production? Was it your idea? Was it Han's idea? Because it came out very, very well.
Like I said, I told Han, like, okay, this is kind of what I want, and she was telling me, okay, that's possible, or no, think of something else, because that's not really gonna work. But it did turn out pretty much in the way that I wanted it to. And then those special effects, are done post production. She edited the video, and she did an incredible job at it as well. So it was very, very nice. Very happy with it.
Is the music video already out, or when can we expect the release then?
Yeah, I've been asked that a lot. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, so guys, just need to watch out for it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch out for it soon. Soon.
Yes. I also had the pleasure to listen to your new upcoming songs, so Boss It Up and Burn. And could you also share what inspired you to create those tracks?
Boss It Up is the first one that's gonna come out also soon.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure exactly when yet, but I'm working on this whole kind of run with a bunch of content that I can kind of release in succession.
Mm-hmm.
And Boss It Up, same kind of thing. Like I found this beat that I really, really liked, and I wrote these lyrics to it. And I think in terms of personally, I think it's one of the best verses or songs I've written so far, because the wordplay and the metaphors, the double and triple entendres, I think are really cool. Yes. I don't want to boast or anything. It's not meant like that. I'm just proud of the song.
Yeah, of course.
So that I really like how that one turned out. And then the other one, Born, it's not the final title yet. Mm-hmm. I'm still figuring that out. That one is more, a bit more low key. The beat is a bit more low key. Same kind of thing. It's just you hear it. I'm like, this is the vibe I get. So this is how I'm gonna write to it, and kind of goes on its own.
Do those songs differ in any way, or you would say are the continuity of the previous work that you've done? Do you think you already said a little bit that for you, Boss It Up was, like you're really proud of the song, but do you think there's a little bit of a change in the new music that you're about to release or you're working on right now?
I think it's getting more sophisticated in a way. Even if you compare the very first songs that I was releasing to the album, I think you can definitely tell there's a lot of improvement, and just like I've gotten better with writing and mixing and mastering. And I think with these new songs, I'm outsourcing the mixing and mastering as well. They're getting even better still, which is natural. You would expect over a year and a half that you do show some improvement in these different aspects of music.
Yes.
So I do think I'm slowly getting better. I'm definitely not where I want to be yet, obviously, but there's a, what do you call that, a rising line,
there is a progress.
There's a stijgende lijn. I don't know what the word is in English. There's progress.
Learning curve, yes.
Yeah.
Are there any specific messages or emotions you hope listeners will take away from these songs?
Not all of them. Some songs, like I said, they're just for the vibe. They're fun to make. You put it on and you can just really listen, just enjoy the music.
This was the feeling that I was really getting from Boss It Up. It was just, this like feel good kind of a song.
Yeah, it's just, you're listening, you put a little stank face on, like, damn, that's nice.
It's like I was, leaning like back and forth, like just listening to it,
That's kind of what the goal is for that one.
It's like a hyping song to me.
Yeah, kind of.
Of course.
But then there's other songs on the album specifically, which are meant to be more thought provoking, like Forgive But Not Forget and Never Let Up. And those ones, they tell more of a story, and it's kind of the idea. They're supposed to, I don't know, just make you feel something, make you think about this the specific topic that I'm talking about. And I really like making that music. I like, not necessarily knowing, but the idea that someone can listen to it and, I don't know, take something away from it.
So I also wanted to ask you a little bit about Groningen music scene of rap, because we know that Groningen is known for its vibrant hip hop scene. So has the local music community supported you in any way or influenced the way you rap or your beginning of your rap career?
So I actually am not very well versed in Groningen music scene, which is something that I do regret. I would like to be more so. It's just that over the past, I don't know, I haven't really done much marketing for the album. I'm not really completely in the circles yet. But that could change, in the future.
With this podcast as well,
promotion. Who knows? But I do know. Do you know Dope DOD? They're Groningen based. They're from Groningen.
Yes.
And they're a dubstep hip hop group. They have. I mean, this was more, I think, early 2000 or late 2000s, early 2010s. And they have a couple songs that I absolutely love, like Psychosis or Groove, and very nice. And I actually got to meet them at an Onyx concert in Simplon as well, along with Onyx themselves, which was really, really cool. They're very nice guys. And that's I think the most I've been into the Groningen music scene, which is really not at all, but it was just a really cool experience to get to meet them. They were quite famous as well. I mean, they still are, like, really, they still make good music.
Yeah.
But that's, they have their own style, really, because that's like dubstep hip hop. They really know their own style, and that's what I want to develop as well a bit, my own thing that I just am good at, that people like.
I also wanted to ask you, when did the decision to rap in English came from? Like, when did you, because you're Dutch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why did you pick up rapping in English and not in Dutch?
I think, like, from quite a young age, I taught myself English, just through watching TV. Like, I was watching Discovery Channel and National Geographic, and then Family Guy and South Park. Maybe not the best ways to learn, but regardless, I did learn it through that.
Yeah.
And in Groningen, most of the people I know here are internationals. So kind of the language that I'm always speaking when in Groningen is English. It's kind of my main language. And at this point, I think my vocabulary in English is also better than it is in Dutch.
This is insane, right? Like, you speak so much English in Groningen, and the same with me in Polish. Like, I use so much English, even if I speak Polish. It's insane.
Yeah. So it's you're a product of your environment, kind of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And everyone's international here. So I'm always speaking English. It just feels more natural for me to also rap in English. If I were to rap in Dutch, it almost feels like I would be rapping in my second language. Mm-hmm. Whereas when I'm rapping in English, it feels like I'm rapping in my mother tongue.
Yeah,
it's a whole different experience.
Yeah. What has been the most memorable feedback you've received from a fan or a fellow artist?
The most memorable feedback was on that first demo, and I was showing it to a few friends, and like, they were trying to be nice, but I could tell, like, they didn't really like it. And it made me look at the song again and really be like, not everyone is going to like your music.
Wow. That's a big one.
Even if they're, good friends, they may not necessarily like your music, which is fair enough. I can't name a single artist where I'm like, yeah, I like every single song that they've made. That's just unnatural. And so with friends, some are not at all into hip hop. They'll support me as a person, as a friend, which is really nice. I'm very appreciative of that. But they won't necessarily like the music. Fair enough. And then others are into hip hop, and some songs they like, but others they're more, okay, yeah, this is not my style. And then I appreciate it if they do just say so. Just let me know that you don't like it. Like, ultimately, through knowing that I don't care that they don't like it, it's just I appreciate the feedback that they give.
So to close off this interview, we have this tradition to do a rapid fire questions.
Right.
So don't think too much about your answers, just go straight up to what you think. So the first one, favorite rapper of all time?
Kendrick Lamar.
Okay. Dream venue you would love to perform at?
I haven't honestly really thought about it. I think so far it must just be Ziggo Dome.
Yeah, that would be
Like the
great.
biggest Dutch venue generally for music.
Yeah. What's the best part about performing at Stukafest?
I think it was the new engagement I got, the new people that I got to meet through Stukafest. It was really, really fun.
Yes. One artist, alive or dead, that you would love to collaborate with?
Well, still Kendrick. We could also go Michael Jackson, but that's a whole different genre.
Yeah. What's your go-to hype song before a performance?
I don't think I really have a hype song before a performance.
Or a hype song in general?
But in hype song in general, it might be Euphoria, also by Kendrick. Yeah. That one just pops off. That was a very nice one.
Good. Favorite Groningen hangout spot?
Currently, I'd say Block and Barrels.
Okay.
That's where we always go with our mates to drink.
Yeah, good one. If you weren't rapping, what would you be doing?
Probably just still studying, reading.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's taken over a large part of my life, eh?
Do you prefer performing in intimate spaces or big stages?
Well, I haven't really performed at any big stages yet.
But Simplum is pretty big venue.
Yeah, I mean that is true. That is true. I think there's a balance between the two, like a really big stage and an intimate space. I think if you find a balance between the two where you can get the intimacy but still have, a decent crowd, I think that would be the best way to perform.
Who's the most underrated rapper right now?
I think in terms of the ones I most actively listen to, I might say Isaiah Rashad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's very underrated at all. I just think he could definitely deserve more listeners.
Yeah. Yeah, for example, I knew most of the rappers that you were speaking about today, but this one I don't know. So maybe there is something.
Maybe there's some merit to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One food that you cannot live without.
Peanut butter.
Good one.
It's very Dutch as well.
I think that would be mine as well.
Nice.
Vinyl, cassette, or streaming? What's your favorite way to listen to music?
Streaming, because I am a digital age baby.
Yes.
But I would love, and I've always wanted to do this, set up like a proper vinyl collection and have a proper record player as well. It's quite pricey. Streaming's free.
Yeah.
Comparatively. Ish, yeah. Vinyls, unfortunately, tend to be quite expensive.
Yeah, especially if you want to have special collection or
exactly.
Special edition vinyls.
I'd love to, don't get me wrong.
Guilty of that so much. Oh my God. How do you celebrate after a successful performance?
The performances I've had, just every time we went out with friends, had drinks, just kind of as regular. Mm-hmm. But still really fun.
Yeah, there was a special purpose at least.
Yeah, kind of.
Exactly.
Now we were drinking with a purpose.
Exactly. If you could open for any artist, who would it be?
Probably Kendrick. But there's still so many other artists that also for the collab one, there's so many other artists that I would love if I ever got the chance to, if I could ever be so fortunate to collab with and to open for. It would be amazing.
Favorite Stukafest memory from last year?
I think the rap battle performance, because that's the very first one.
Yeah.
Like, that holds a special place in my heart, and everyone that came to support. It's a really, really cool experience.
And the last one, if you could only listen to one album for a year, what would it be and why?
Either Kendrick's Untitled Unmastered, because I love that album, or Joey Badass 1999. Also one I haven't even mentioned yet, Joey Badass, incredible. So I think either one of those two might be the ones.
To close off the segment, I wanted to ask, where can new listeners find your music and follow your journey?
It's out on all streaming platforms, EMVE, EMVE. It's really just my name with an E on the front and an E on the back. There are already too many artists with just MV on Spotify.
Yeah.
But it's out everywhere, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, whatever you can think of. It's going to be on YouTube and everything. And then you can follow me on Instagram, e.mv.e, to get all the updates on the future projects, because most of the direct marketing, kind of what you want to call it, most of the direct updates will be on there.
Thank you so much. That will be all on my part for this interview.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was so great to hear your journey and to get to know a little bit more about your music and get more insight into it. I wish you all the best. Your music is great, and there's a lot of new, very interesting music and music videos happening in the near future. We don't know when yet, but yeah, there's a lot of things coming up for you, and I wish you all the success with it. And it was very great to speak to you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciated you having me. It's also very nice to do my first podcast ever. So great new experience.
No, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this week's episode. It was a pleasure talking with EMVE and diving into his journey, inspiration, and what he has ahead of him. Don't forget also to check his new track, Boss It Up, now streaming everywhere. And of course, also don't forget to watch his new music video to his song The Function. And also don't forget to follow Stuka Podcast so you're always in the loop for our next episodes. We'll be bringing you more stories, insights, and the behind the scenes moments from everyone who helps make Stukafest happen. Thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to share more Stuka magic with you next time. See you soon!